Hello, this is Dr. Nancy Trimboli with your Healthcare Arsenal podcast. This podcast is designed for that person who knows there's a better way towards health and wellness. They just don't know what that better way is. And my hope for you is that with each passing episode, you get closer to being your own best expert. Today, we're going to do some secret intel deep dive into Stealth Health, book that I published in 2020. It took me 2.5 years to write. And we're going to dive into the three powerful questions today. And that is answering this: how do I unravel my own mystery? It answers that. And when I was writing Stealth Health, I knew that I had to use questions with my own health. And I talked with my editor about that. And she saw it in my draft. And the first question I always ask myself is, why? Why is this happening? Why am I getting sinus infections? Why do I have to go on antibiotics more and more often? Why? 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 And speaking specifically about sinus infections, what I stumbled upon because of an unexpected discovery, which we'll talk about in a future episode, was that I had a food sensitivity to bell peppers, green peppers, red peppers, jalapeno, chili pepper spice, even things like cayenne and paprika. I had a food sensitivity to that wasn't an instant allergy, but had a delayed reaction. And that reaction, which for me was my sinus congestion and actually turning into sinus infection and fevers, it was delayed by days. So that's why with a food sensitivity slash allergy, it's an IgG allergy. That's why it's hard to connect the food to the trigger of your problem. And I just happened to stumble upon that. And so that came from me asking myself, why, and doing research about it. Well, my follow-up question to that was for myself, well, what if I could heal? So even if I had this food allergy, well, what if I could heal from that? So I wrote that in one of my first drafts for my editor, and she said, your most powerful question is, what if I could heal? She said, because me as a consumer in the system, in the conventional medical model, you are taught either directly or indirectly that you're not going to heal. You have this thing. You have this label of this diagnosis. And that's what got me to put what if I could heal as our most powerful question. Because what if I could heal actually means that you have to make a mindset change. You have to recognize the fact that you could heal. What if I could heal? Means that you're not just accepting the label of a diagnosis as you're allowing the possibility to exist that your body can change, that you can change, that you could heal. So, so let's talk about the diagnosis a little bit. The diagnosis is the job of a medical doctor to give you. That's their job. They have to label you with a diagnosis because that's what then sets up the treatment. Remember, a diagnosis is just a Latin term for whatever symptoms you're experiencing. So for me, with the sinus infection, my diagnosis was sinusitis. If somebody has heartburn or upset stomach or acid indigestion, they're going to get a diagnosis of gastritis. Well, if you separate the word gastritis into its root and its prefix, gastritis means your stomach hurts. That's what it means. So I've run across people who have said, "Oh, you know what? Nobody can help you. I have gastritis." What? You have your stomach hurts? That's it? That doesn't tell you why. That doesn't tell you the underlying cause. That doesn't tell you what you can do. It just tells you that your medical doctor can prescribe a medication for that, and maybe some testing, an upper GI where they drop a camera down your throat, or lower GI where they stick the camera up your butt. But it doesn't tell you anything about how you can heal. It's just a label. And what a label does for you is it stops all future investigation. It stops you because now you have this thing. And now maybe you have an excuse for why you can't eat that certain thing or go to this certain event, or you can't pick your kids up from school, or you're too tired to do that because you have something like chronic fatigue syndrome. When literally that's English, it's not even Latin. It just means you're always tired. It still doesn't answer the question why underneath. Why is that going on? It is just a label. Our bodies are the most magnificent self-healing organisms that exist. The only thing we could do better is grow another tail like a lizard. That would be super cool if we could grow limbs back. But regardless, in spite of that, we are amazing self-healing miracles. So all we need to do is get rid of the obstacle that's interfering with our healing, or give our body something that it's lacking so it may heal. That's it. Now, granted, there are physical limitations of matter. So, for instance, if you've had your gallbladder removed, you're not going to be able to heal your gallbladder. It's not there anymore. So, there is things like that. But by saying to ourselves, what if I could heal? That opens the doorway for possibility and for unexpected discoveries to happen, for research to occur by you to find true healing. Because once you open up the doorway for that, you you no longer accept yourself as complete and done like a boiled egg. You accept yourself as ever changing, malleable, and healing. The system has been wanting to set us up for failure, and that's why they give us a label. And it's so sad when I meet people, or I have people come into the office for different issues, or different services other than to see me, and they'll say, "Oh, I have degenerative disc disease," and it's usually with a little wave of the hand. A chiropractor can't help me. I have degenerative disc disease. Well, I got to tell you, I would say 90% of the adults that I see have degenerative disc disease. It's just a label to mean that you have some kind of degeneration of your spine from an injury that you had years ago. It doesn't mean that I can't help you. It's just a label. And it breaks my heart that those people are not even open to the possibility of change and healing because a medical doctor gave them that label and said, nobody can help you. You have degenerative disc disease. So the system wants you to be a failure because that allows them to continually prescribe medication, either for pain relief or for organ support or whatever it might be, some way to ameliorate maybe your symptoms. And it it also, which really is not the fault of the medical doctor, it's the system. It's the system at work, and the longer you have this label, the worse you're going to get, honestly, whether you take medication or you don't, because you're not addressing the underlying issue. And if you do take medication for it, those medications cause other side effects, which cause other opportunities for the symptom to, or the system to order testing, order more prescriptions, have more further medical intervention. So let's talk a little bit about what changes then once you ask that more powerful question. What if I could heal? What if I could? So what's your motivators to heal? What are you being stopped by? Or what in your life are you unable to do because of this issue or problem that you have? Maybe it's you can't do certain activities, or you can't be around certain people, or you can't travel, or you can't do your sport, or you can't do your other recreation, whether it's knitting or photography. You don't have the energy, or you're afraid something will happen if you get too far from home. You're afraid to leave behind all of your medical interventions and your medical appointments. What would you do if all those things were gone? What would you do if you no longer had the limitations of the issue of your mystery right now? So I want you to do this. If you're facing a health challenge, I want you to write down your key motivators. What would you do? What will you do when you've figured out this problem for yourself? What will you not worry about? What are your motivators? And sometimes it's simple stuff, like I'll be able to do my job with a greater proficiency. Sometimes it's more profound, like I'll be able to make long-term plans with my significant other because right now I can't. So I want you to literally write that down. If you go to our website, you'll see the downloads, which have a printable version of the key motivators, and you can fill that in. And what I want you to remember also that as we start to explore this and go on to the questions of why and what are our resources, you are going to become your own best expert, because the medical doctors are not only very tunnel vision, but they have no knowledge. They don't ask the why. They don't ask for the underlying issues. They don't look at the whole person. All of medical care is compartmentalized. And that goes back to being a mechanistic way of looking at the human body. You see, the divergence of medical doctors versus holistic doctors and health practitioners didn't just start recently. It goes back to the time of Socrates, when there were mechanists and vitalists. Mechanists look at the human body as individual parts and pieces, meaning the heart is separate from the lungs. So that's why in medicine you have your cardiologist and your pulmonologist. You also have your neurologist, your gastroenterologist, your urologist, your gynecologist, your proctologist, your orthopedist, and they all have their own little their specialty, and they are tunnel visioned on looking at just that. Whereas on the flip side, a vitalist believes that the sum of all of our parts is greater than them individualized. So all of our systems together are more profound, and there's more mystery and more profound functioning to that than the mechanist side of taking everything out as individual parts and pieces. This is where holism lies in the vitalistic viewpoint of the human body, that I can't just separate things out. Now, of course, a chiropractor will look at things differently than a homeopath, who might look at different things differently than another a physical medicine doctor who looks at the vital person. But we all see the body as a profound vitalistic force that we cannot explain completely, but we also cannot separate down into its individual parts. So in Stealth Health, and this is the chapter 2, we're talking about the powerful questions, because my editor felt it was super important to put those right up front, because by asking that question, you turn your brain on, and this is the mindset change. You turn your brain on and you start to look for clues. What if I could heal? It's kind of um, like when you're looking at getting another car. Let's say you start to look at Hondas and you're looking at a certain model. And you're looking at this model of Honda and, oh, this is new to me. I've not seen this before. And you take it for a test drive and you tell the salesman, I'm going to think about it. And then as you're driving home, you not only see one or two or three of those, they are everywhere because now your brain is turned on to seeing this specific make and model of car. And all of a sudden you start recognizing it. It's the same way. So when you open your eyes and put the thought in your brain of what if I could heal, interesting things will start to illuminate for you. Your brain will automatically start looking for the clues to unravel the mystery of you. Ask this question and it could be life-changing for you. Answers are within reach. Resources of people, books, and concepts are right outside your back door. Literally. That's why I do the Your Healthcare Arsenal podcast is because just in my little area, Northwest Indiana, there are so many holistic healers. It is crazy that people don't even know they're there because they're not asking the question, what if I could heal? And where are my resources? Resources of people, books, and concepts are right outside your back door. They wait for you to be ready to discover them. So if you're not asking the right questions, if you're just complacent with taking your diagnosis and following the conventional medical model, which is a dead end, you're not those resources will not be illuminated to you. But once you are ready and asking, what if I could heal? Suddenly they will become apparent to you. So this is the first step. And I write, my promise for you is that you will be on your first steps towards healing just by asking this question. And if you get nothing else from this book, simply asking this important question will alter your trajectory. Embrace this question as your personal crusade, and I will have achieved my life's purpose in helping you to unravel the mystery of you. Because mission you is paramount. Nobody else is going to put you as a priority like you will. No medical doctor, no holistic doctor, no friend, no family, no spouse. You must make mission you paramount. Once you start asking that powerful question, the answers will start to unfold before you. Pathways will start to unfold before you. But you do have to do some work. You do have to do your own research because you need to become your own best expert because nobody is like you. Nobody is going to understand your background and your history like you do. So I hope that helps. We will talk about the second power question in the future. As always, this has been your Healthcare Arsenal podcast, and my hope for you is that with each passing episode, you get closer to being your own best expert. Bye for now.